doesn't care if you go to confession and you confess over and over and over that you have an issue with anger. What he doesn't want you to know is that anger usually is the result of an idol of control. And so how many of us go to confession and confess that we have worshiped a false god? Because many of us have made false gods in our lives. So for instance, anger is an idolatry of control. Pride is an idolatry of self. Lust is an idolatry of relationships. Gluttony is an idolatry of substance to comfort. Sloth is an idolatry of comfort to avoid pain or long suffering. Greed or envy, is an idolatry of status. And so we make these things idols in our life, and the enemy doesn't want us to see that connection, but even worse, he doesn't want us to realize there's a woundedness way over here that is making it all happen. So usually, anger and anger issues are because of an idolatry of control, but the underlying woundedness behind it all is a powerlessness wound or an abandonment issue. So in a place where you get salt in one of your wounds where you're feeling uncomfortable because you're powerless, you move to control, and when you're not able to control, then that's where the anger comes, or the abandonment. The enemy wants you to keep confessing that you have a pornography addiction, because if you at some point realize you've made an idol of relationship and that your underlying wound is rejection, and you deal with that rejection, because most people who are involved in pornography, it is the desire for union and communion, but the fear of being rejected, and so they go to an inanimate thing to fulfill that God-given desire that gets disordered, you see. That's rightly ordered to desire the feminine or the masculine to be in a relationship, but the disorder comes from the sinfulness of that and the desire, that underlying woundedness of rejection. So these connections is what I help teach people to see. I have a chart in my book, because sometimes you don't even know what your issue is. You just know the lies you believe. So I've actually put together a chart that has the 7 deadly sins, what is an idolatry of that would need to be confessed and addressed, what are your lies that you've believed that the enemy has proposed to you, because some people are just like, these are the lies I hear in my head or that I tell myself. What are the vows that you've made to self-protect? Or what are your distress symptoms in your life? For instance, hoarding. Hoarding is a distress symptom of an underlying woundedness, and it has a corresponding idol and a corresponding sin. So if you're not sure what all of those are, I've created this chart to help all of us kind of identify, so we can go deeper through our confession and also to ask God into these places to heal and really see what is the reason that these things continue to manifest in our lives to set us free.